There is an epidemic in the dynamic of American news culture. The overall perspective and attention given to international news is so skewed that we fail to notice problems outside of ourselves. Our line of sight typically does not reach past our own national and even domestic issues due to the constant presence of censorship from national leaders and the press itself. The only media we listen to now is entertainment. The sad part is, they know it.
Candace Everdeen is a symbol. They're mocking Jay. They think she's one of them. We need to show that she's one of us. We don't need to destroy her, just the image. Then we let the people do the rest.
What do you propose?
Shut down the black markets, take away what little they have, then double the amount of floggings and executions, put them on TV.
Now this scene may come from a fictional story, but there is some truth in the method of keeping real-world issues under wraps. We are so blinded by the entertainment we are even becoming numb to tragedies, like the constant amount of school shootings. Fear has become a part of our everyday lives, and it seems media outlets care more about presenting news to get views rather than establishing meaningful awareness. Media thrives on our fear of real-world issues and bombards us with meaningless crap just to keep us engaged.
One example of media outlets controlling our attention comes from the over-coverage of Hurricane Harvey. Texas experienced major flooding during this storm in 2017, and were gifted with more coverage than the disastrous flooding in South Asia. There were news stories about drowning dogs in Houston, rather than calling attention to the thousands dying in Asia. There is a call for balance here. We as a country are rich and will cope despite inept leadership. But with the constant over-coverage of American news, are we saying that American lives are worth more?
America first! America first!
The bubble we live in has prevented us from gaining awareness about one of the largest drug wars to date in recent history. The Filipino drug war has been completely shielded from American view.
In this video, we will interview, compile, and compare opinions about American news coverage, both domestic and international, from students, professors, and media professionals to form an idea of the climate surrounding these topics at our university and beyond.
Not really. On a large scale, we avoid a lot of things that are really important, like famines or like bombing campaigns, unless it's like relatively relevant to the United States. Most of it we don't show at all. I mean, yes, because to one extent it kind of has to be. There's like a baseline level of censorship to avoid public hysteria. But aside from that, I feel like stories can definitely get boiled down very easily, but I'm not really sure about censorship. A lot of the time, I don't know, it usually takes people who are like really interested in it and try to raise awareness, like in grassroots campaigns. Like I think of college students and like clubs like that. There would have to be like an argument on how the United States can act, and like I guess we could kind of argue that we could put pressures on our own government to put pressures on other governments, because that's very possible. You just need to be clear about what you want to get people to rally with you, and also to get like legislators to listen to you.
From what I've noticed back home, when you watch the news or when you read the newspaper or something like that, you always have sections that talk about our own country and things that are going on there, and also sections about the world. And I know that's also something that happens in the US, but the main difference that I found is when you go on a website for a newspaper here, they will usually have the main news are going to be news about the United States, and there are going to be like smaller news about other countries, whereas back home everything kind of gets the same importance, I guess. So you get like a more well-rounded coverage of what's happening in the world.
I don't really watch American news, but I receive like top 5 news in a week in a news mail magazine.
No, I have not seen any.
In both the United States or Europe?
No, neither of them. I've seen the Filipino drug war. I think it says that there's definitely an agenda, I would say, or maybe not a complete. Everyone may not be aware of the agenda going on, and it may just be with the supervisors of the newspapers or news teams or something like that, but the way in which voices from outside are constantly undermined or simplified into this more simple narrative, I mean, that's destructive because we don't get to hear other opinions of the things going on.
Get a new president, someone who cares. No, but I think there needs to be a revision of the educational system in the United States.
There probably is more of a national focus, even if it's international news. It's what it's still focused on the U.S. say, right, and then it would have to be what is the U.S. doing in these foreign countries versus there's something happening in this other country, whether or not it has to do with the U.S. or not. Certainly they found that in the American public there's an audience for that type of content, right? And it's kind of like seamless, connections to whatever marketing schemes that are going on or products, right? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would be, I'm a big proponent of doing publicly funded media. I think they do an excellent job. Of course, their history just in terms of journalism and these media is definitely different than ours here. We have much more of a history of the for-profit model. And although we have PBS and PR, not as well funded as the BBC.
We had the honor of interviewing photojournalist Eli Sepe, who is a part of the Photojournalist Center of Philippines. Eli is an independent photographer who is based in Manila, the capital of the Philippines. Just this year, Eli won Photographer of the Year in the 2018 International Photography Award Filipino due to his photo essay titled The Enemy in the Dark. Here I speak to him about news coverage in both the United States and the Philippines, and most importantly, the Filipino drug war.
Yes, I think it should be not just for America, but for other countries as well. Well, even if I haven't received any or haven't experienced any, I still fear, not just for myself, but for other journalists or photojournalists who are concerned of what is happening or who are documenting the issue. About crime scenes and the police, to be specific, they have become more strict in crime scenes. Like in America, for example, like Trump, he's blaming the media for fake news
Yeah.
and everything. That those in here that some politicians say that the extrajudicial killings are not true. The assailants, the people who are doing the killings, they haven't been, you know, we still don't know about them because the enemy is still out there. They remain hidden, unsolved. We don't know if it's really the police or just members of drug groups. He doesn't care. He doesn't care of what's happening, so it's just he has nothing else to do but praise.
Despite the lack of awareness involving the Filipino drug war, Americans are not completely blind to global issues. However, the issue comes with our national response to these problems. We continue to turn our heads away from the famine, genocides, and problems of third world countries. We would rather critique celebrities' attire instead of stringing together solutions to problems like the Filipino drug war. We live through ignorance of our own making.
Our overcoverage of our endless pit of entertainment has brought up an important question. Why do we continue to live within the ignorance? Do we as a culture view our lives to be worth more than those of other nationalities? Would more coverage of global issues strike down the constant need to see the drama of Hollywood?
During our interviews, we noticed several themes. Number 1, our interviewees agreed that American news does not have enough international news coverage. Number 2, most of our interviewees were unaware of the Filipino drug war. However, they all seemed to agree on their desire to see more coverage of this topic. And number 3, the reason we are cut off from global awareness comes from our self-indulgent, nationalistic culture. We choose to remain ignorant and unaware.
The purpose of this film was not to take away from American issues. However, it is a call for change in perspective. We need to understand that, though our issues are important, we cannot go on ignoring the problems of the world. We cannot continue to concern ourselves solely on the whereabouts of celebrities and ignoring global issues.